What's up, everybody? This is Dallin, Candland. We are back with you today, episode number 45. Dude, it's August 24th, 2020. Today marks 1 year since I started this podcasting journey, and I am so thankful to all of you who have been part of this journey, for all of the downloads, all the follows, all the shares, all the likes on Instagram, everything like that. It's really helped me to keep going, helped me to learn as much as I've learned from doing this podcast. And I'm excited for year two, excited for the rest of 2020 to get a lot done and interview a bunch more people and make a lot more personal and other progress. So yeah, just thank you so much. And it just really makes me smile. There's this person in France that's literally been listening to like a lot of the episodes lately. Just makes me smile every time. All of you that are like sacrificing that time to listen to what I'm up to and just hear these interviews, it really means a lot to me. And I'm glad that it's able to make a difference for you. And I hope that it's made a big difference for your life. Like, kind of makes me think, like, where do you want to be, by the time the next year of Yield Today goes by? What do you plan to do before the end of this episode? It's a very good question that you should ask yourself. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 quick things I've learned from podcasting in that overall journey, and hope you enjoy. Number 1, just about timing and planning, pretty much putting things on autopilot. I learned that, it's important to work hard and just grind and get things done sometimes. But I learned from my Uncle Mark, talking with him, that it's really important that you work enough on things along the way so you don't miss deadlines. There's a couple times when I try to get an episode out on Tuesday or Monday, and I wouldn't be able to get it out till Wednesday. And who knows, maybe there was somebody who's like, no, I need Dallin. And they didn't have my support. They didn't have that episode when I said it would come, and I let them down. And who knows, maybe they never listen to the podcast again. It's like, no, I can't trust him. You never know, right? So that's something that I learned probably like 6 or 7 months ago, maybe. I've gotten a lot better at it, trying to get a little bit done each time, take advantage of these times to record. Like right now, my roommate's not here, and it's probably a good time to record, honestly. It's on my mind, so I'm like, let's just do it, right? So that's something I'm trying to get better at, is just being a lot more professional with these things. I'm trying to plan out the next 10 episodes, have a lot of them all recorded, interviews and everything. Yeah, so I think we're making progress with that. And it's a lesson learned. It's a step that I took. It's something that I've added to my tool belt. So pretty cool stuff. The second thing has to do about creating versus consuming. So when you combine my video game playing and my YouTube watching and all of that, over the last year, it probably adds up to a lot of hours, honestly. And then if you compare that to my creating time, I don't know, it might be 50-50. It might be like 30-70. I don't think it's 30-70. That's oof. It's probably more like 40-60. But I really learned that with creating, I just always learn so much from doing it. And consuming is amazing. I've learned so much from like different books and things. But really for me, I learn a ton like from applying it, putting it to work, making a podcast episode about it. That really helps me get that next level, I guess, of learning. Yeah, so like if you're able to teach something, then you've clearly learned it a lot. But like with consuming these things, the person has put in a lot of work to get to this point where the video's at that level, and you haven't seen any of the behind the scenes stuff. You're just getting the final product. And I think about it like with eating and cooking. I love eating, but cooking, I'm not as big a fan of. But lately, I've been doing a little bit more baking. I did some baking on a date recently, and just really been getting more into that thing. I even baked with a roommate too. We made this banana bread thing, and it was fun, and it was just really satisfying to taste it and to eat it and everything. And it was just like, this is awesome. We made this together, and it's just really, really cool, and there's just a different satisfaction for me that comes with like actually making something and seeing it go from start to finish versus, consuming others' content. I think I'll always keep trying to learn, and one of the best ways is to learn from others, but I've also learned this past year, just about applying myself more and, getting my own opinion on things and wanting to learn more for myself, seeing what I think about something and not just seeking for what other people think about it. So that's just my quick thoughts on that. Number 3. Okay, this really is interesting. One of those interesting things. I feel like with everything that I've done, like YouTube and whatever, there's different opportunities, there's different perks to it. And with podcasting, one of the big ones is everyone wants exposure. Everyone wants to get their message out. And with podcasting, like, you're literally hearing me in your eardrums. And that's like super sacred space, in my opinion. So I really want to make it worth your while. But yeah, podcasting is just a different beast. Like, I remember think of when I had Nick Sales on. He was just such a good guest. It was awesome to have him on. I look forward to having him on another time. He just really gave a really good message that was for the audience and for the youth and for the college students and everybody. We just had this good dialogue going on. That was a lot of fun to do. And for him, it made sense with his audience because he's trying to inspire the next generation. He's trying to do all these different things. And so that made sense. And so podcasting is a completely different beast. Like, if your audience is like super good for this guest, like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, I don't know, my mind was completely blown by something I heard about, like, how this one guy, might have been Pat Flynn. I've been watching a lot of his stuff lately. And, the idea was like, this guy, he got on this podcast and there was only like 300 downloads or something, which is a lot, right? At least for me right now. 50% of those people ended up buying his course or buying his book or whatever it was. And there was this amazing, conversion rate. Whereas when this guy pitched to, like, this podcast had a much bigger following, just didn't resonate as much. So, just some very interesting stuff. Because every single podcast has a separate audience, and I'm trying to figure out mine better, honestly. I'm hoping we can figure this out together better over the next year. And yeah, I just think that's super cool. There's so many opportunities of podcasting. I've appeared on different podcasts, just, trying to get my message and different things out there. And so it's a different beast. There's a lot of cross-pollination. It's super cool how we're all able to support each other and kind of just, add on to each other. I think that's super cool. Number 4 is just about how, like, done is better than just waiting for it to be perfect. Because there's been episodes that I've stayed up till like 4 or 5 a.m. to make sure it was like super good. And then there's been other times when I was like, all right, I just need to get this as good as I can get it and then just call it because I need to get it out. And it makes you value time so much more when you realize, hey, I need to get this done at this time and I have this deadline. It just makes you value that time that you have to get it done. Because if you have to get it out by a certain time, then it's like, all right, well, I gotta hustle. I gotta get this done. You waste less time. And it's something I've been doing with my Instagram posts too. It's just like, just get it out there. And that's it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be there, and do what you can do. Because even just the tiniest bit of value, if it's the right words, if it's the right message, the right feeling and stuff, it can resonate with somebody. So you never know. You never know what piece of content that somebody's going to resonate with. And so you need to get it out there. There's episodes I've had a ton of fun with, and I don't know. I had a good time with them. It's important that you get the thing out. Really interesting to me is Robbie Mercury, I think is his name, came out with the song Time Waits for Nobody. But the thing is, the song came out after he died. It was a version of a beloved song that never got made, like never got released. And it's interesting because that version is my favorite version of the song. And I was never like a Robbie Mercury fan, not even sure if that's his name. But like Time Waits for Nobody, oh, such a good song. Such a good song to make you think about life and everything. And it would be so tragic if that never got out there. And there's tons of work in progress things. And I respect those who want to wait on those things. But at the same time is ticking. Maybe somebody really needs to hear it. Maybe, and so it's important that you get it out there and that you let go of that perfectionism and just get it done. Because there's honestly been times when I'm like, oh no, that is not good enough or whatever, and it delays me, it slows me down. And it can be benefit to have that high standard, but at the same time, it's important just to respect your boundaries, respect your circumstances, and just do the very best you can with them. Because if you do really good in this circumstance right now that you're in, you will be in a better circumstance a week, month, even a couple hours from now. It's all about how you handle the present moment and later on. Number 5 is just about asking follow-up questions. I think this is super powerful. It's something I've gotten better at from doing interviews with people, and it's translated to life. There's been some conversation I've had with people that would probably fall into the podcast interview feel, because I was like, oh, well, what was that like? How'd you feel when this happened? It's like, oh, it was really dreadful. And it's like, yeah, that's crazy. You just really get to empathize with people when you ask these like really deep listening questions. And it's something I'm always trying to get better at, but it's just super cool when you ask a question and they're like, yeah, that's a good question. Cause it's like directed towards them and you get that, you just get that really clear, genuine answer because that question's like more directed towards them. And so basically what I want to say with this is just the power of like really listening to somebody. And it's something I learned on my mission trip too. Like being willing to change it up. Somebody says something and just changes what you're thinking. You're like, huh, if somebody says something and makes you like a question mark go off, it's like, that's probably something you should ask about, get further clarification. It's like, hey, this is what I kind of thought. Is that what you were saying? Those different clarifying questions really are just so good for people knowing where you're at and talking with you, and they can catch you back up. And that's super powerful because if you know where you messed up, if you know where you fell off the boat, so to speak, then they can really catch you up. But if you haven't been listening and you're just like, man, I cannot wait to ask him about what his favorite Pop-Tart flavor is. And so it's like you're missing all this amazing conversation. And I wish I could think of a solid analogy on the spot, but the idea really is like there are so many different things that are happening all around us, and it's important to appreciate those because they come and they go. It's like the wind, And so it's important to kind of ride that wind a little bit and just listen from it and listen to it and kind of catch that and go on that journey with that person and be willing to really listen to them, get in their shoes and understand them a little bit better. That's been super powerful and very helpful for me in my professional and personal life lately, just being able to ask those clarifying, powerful questions. And it just kind of goes back to like, if you're interested, it'll show. You'll ask these questions. It'll just come naturally. It takes a lot of practice, of course, but you will get better because everybody's different perspectives. Everybody has different things they've heard, and it's just really powerful to do that. Those are my 5 things that I've learned from my first year of podcasting. Pretty exciting. Again, they were just timing and planning, being willing to put things on kind of an autopilot thing, being more professional about that. How creating feels better than consuming, at least for me. Podcasting's a different beast. People want exposure and just such a good opportunity to meet new people and to kind of get yourself out there too. It's really, really amazing and just really wholesome too. Just really awesome. Like lately with me being able to be on podcasts that go along with my brand, my personal brand and everything, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is, but it's really cool. To see the light bulbs go off and just be like, yeah, we're both serving our audiences, even though you're not on my show, I'm on your show. And this is really cool. And it's led to some new networking. Done is better than waiting and waiting and waiting for it to be perfect. Because truth is, there's no such thing as a perfect podcast episode. There's always different things you can work on. And I know with my show, there's definitely a lot that I want to work on. But there's also a lot that I've gotten better at over this year. And then number 5, asking follow-up questions that take you back to the person's point of view, understanding their mindset and stuff. That's really something that really fascinates me, is like hearing, okay, What were you thinking? And what was it like, dude? Take me back. Like when I talked to Dennis Conforto about when he was homeless back in episode like 41 or 42, that was really cool for me. That's about it though. So thank you so much for checking out the podcast, following it, and supporting it. I just love seeing the reviews on iTunes and just love that this podcast is making a difference for you. And hopefully we can really scale up the production value and just provide a ton of value for all of you guys and just help the community and everything grow. I'm just really excited for the future and what's going to happen. And there's already a bunch of things in the pipeline already, so you can expect good stuff. So definitely let your friends know if they're into this kind of thing, productivity, entrepreneurship, making the most of your life, self-care, and trying to get better each day. That's what we're all about here. Thank you all so much for listening. Have another episode coming next week. And I launched my book today, so check that out. I'll try to have a link to that in the show notes. Honestly, I'm going to have to grind really hard to get it all done today when this episode goes live, but I believe it is possible. Next week, I'm going to talk about some of the lessons I learned from writing my first book. So if you're excited for that, definitely follow the podcast so you don't miss it. And there'll be a lot more great interviews coming soon too. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to yield today. It will be better tomorrow.